Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios right here in the Investor Schooling headquarters. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I want to thank you for listening, and I want you to get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many other things about money that I bet you didn't even know. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show with your questions. Write this phone number down, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. We are a live program, so you can call anytime during the show, and we will take your calls. Hey, don't worry about what the topic is. Don't worry about what we're talking about. We'll take your calls about anything that has to do with money, finances, or, hey, even politics. Hey, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and YouTube, and you can leave comments there as well. And if you're watching online, please say hi. It's the only way I know you're watching. And say hi, make a comment. All right, at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money and taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar studio. Our students also are located in several states with the exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. All right, get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, stock options trading from your friendly neighborhood financial expert. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. All right, I got something interesting today. I got a bunch of good things going on today. So you guys who are regular listeners to the show, we're 10 o'clock this morning. We're normally on at 2, as you know that, but there's a game on, so they bumped us to 10. But I've got a couple of things. I've got a guest here. So I almost said, I'm going to tell you a funny story. I'm not going to tell you what I almost said, but we have Robin Scott here. Robin is one of our students who actually just started working for the school literally 3 days ago or something like that, right? So I thought it'd be fun to introduce her. We also have something else that I want to bring up in a little while. We have another special guest coming on who's going to be calling in. His name is Chris Noggle, and he's created something really impressive called the Private Money Club, and we're going to talk about that as well. So real quick, I just want to let Robin say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody out there in TV land. Is that appropriate? Sort of TV land?
Right? Yeah, I guess.
Can you say TV land anymore?
We're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, so it's sort of right. It's sort of there, right? So real quick. So let's just introduce Robin while we wait for Chris to call a little while. So let's talk about this, right? So you came to the school about 2 years ago, maybe
2019.
Longer? Yeah. Okay. So you were actually one of the early adapters, right? Yeah. You were there before we expanded the walls, before we took the walls down, right?
Yeah. Before you did any of that stuff.
Yeah. So what we had to do is we had to grow because we had so many students coming in. We had to grow it. Not so many that we can't handle, obviously, but we had to grow. We had to take the walls down, and so you've been here for quite a while. So just real quick, what's your experience as a student, and then we'll talk to you about coming to work for us.
Well, it's been a fantastic experience, an eye-opener. 4 eye-openers. I only have 2 eyes, so it's just so much you can learn here. He just drops the golden nuggets, and that's what they are. Golden nuggets, diamond nuggets, whatever you want to do in life, Larry can always help you with it. Whether it's real estate, whether it's investing in the stock options, even with stock, he can help you with that also. And it's been a tremendous experience, and I am just enjoying the cruise.
That's awesome. So one of the things that's funny because, I start to think about it, this station and other stations and everywhere else you go, they have radio shows and they have commercials about investment advisors. Now, and I don't care. I mean, I don't say anything negative about any group of investment advisors, only the fact that I say that they're all stuck within their own clique. They're not allowed to really discuss other things. So in other words, and here's something interesting. So investment advisors aren't allowed to discuss anything that's outside of what they're allowed to sell. It's actually a law by the SEC that says they can't discuss anything, even if they don't make any money on it, even if they just say, hey, they go see a client and the client says, and the client tells them everything about their financial situation, and they think in their head they know a product that XYZ company has that would be perfect for them, but that financial advisor doesn't sell it. They can't even tell them about it. They can't even say, hey, I read a Wall Street Journal article about this great product. You should probably go check it out. I probably can't help you. Now, obviously it's not in their best interest to do that anyway because they're not making any commission. But if you're going to find a really honest person who's going to say, hey, listen, this isn't for me, I think you should go somewhere else. They can't even say it legally. Like, in other words, they will lose their license if they do that. So we actually came along and we came along and we said, okay, let's teach people everything that has to do with finances, and let's answer their questions as an independent. So I don't care if you come to me and you say, hey, your financial advisor said that this mutual fund is the greatest mutual fund in the planet, and he explained all these reasons why, and you come to me, I'm either going to agree or I'm going to disagree or I'm going to say there might be something that's better, where your financial advisor can't do that. And I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not selling a product. So so if that mutual fund is not for you, I can't sell you another mutual fund. I don't do that. I may say, hey, maybe you should ask that same guy, if you like him, about this one, or maybe you should ask the same guy about that one or something else. There's so many other ways, especially investing in college, especially for college for your kids, that most people don't even know. One of the greatest ways is a Roth IRA for your kids. And no one talks about this. So no financial advisor is going to talk about having a Roth IRA for your kids because they don't understand how to set it up properly or how to make sure that it's legal. And we will teach you that because you have to do certain things to make sure it's legal. First of all, your kid has to have an income, and we could teach you how to create an income for your children to make that work. The other thing that we do also is we teach people how to actually find money. So let's say you have a real estate deal. So real quick, I just want to give the phone number again for all you guys out there, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And I'm going to keep giving this phone number out, 855-939-1137. If you have any questions on anything, 855-939-1137. One more time, 855-939-1137. So why do I give the phone number out so many times? Because we noticed that when we give it out a lot, people call and they ask some really great questions and they keep the show going. So another thing that we teach people is how to buy real estate with no money out of your own pocket. Now, people say no money or no money down. That's fine. It's all the same thing. Whenever I buy a piece of real estate, if I don't have to take any money out of my pocket, then I call that a home run. Sometimes I go to closings and I get money back. To me, that's a grand slam. I mean, I bought properties where I've gone to closing and, I buy a property and I actually leave the closing with money, and then I make a couple of $100 a month on the property for rent. And to me, that's like the greatest thing ever. It's really creating money out of thin air. Imagine leaving a closing. Imagine getting $35,000 from buying a property and then making $200 to $300 a month on that property. I mean, that's making money out of thin air. It's fantastic. That could solve a lot of your financial problems once you learn how to do that. So one of the ways that we do that is we use something called private money. And private money is a amazing way to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to find people to lend us money. Now, a lot of people get this confused with a term out there called hard money lenders. Now, I don't use hard money lenders. I certainly do advocate for them. I think they have a great use. But hard money lenders, they're usually people who will lend you a certain amount of money on a property and also lend you a certain amount of money to reconstruct the property, and they have some underwriting guidelines. Some are harder, some are less hard, but they have some underwriting guidelines. But what I do is I go to actual people. I go, hey, I'll go to my brother, for example, and I say, hey, listen, you got $100,000 sitting in the bank doing nothing, making you 0.01% interest. I think now it's maybe 1% interest with the new things out there. And hold on one second. You know what I have to do? I have to do something real quick. Do me a favor, Robin.
Sure.
Take this call outside and tell them I'm going to fix it right now because I know exactly what happened. We got to take it outside. Hold on one second, everybody. I got to fix something because I actually gave that number out, but I forgot to transmit it to the show. Isn't that terrible when I do something like that? Hey, Henry, you want to talk about engineering issues? You want to talk about engineering issues, right? I forgot to do something. I forgot to transfer the number to your number, so everybody calling right now is actually calling my cell phone. Is that funny?
Oh boy.
I know. You would think that after doing this all these years, I would know how to do this, but I just forgot to do it. So now I'm doing it actually while we speak. So that would just take me a minute to fix this. Oh my goodness. This is terrible. You ever try to do something under pressure, Henry?
I mean, everybody's listening.
I know, exactly. That's even worse, right? So everybody's listening to me make a fool of myself right here. No, actually, I'm not really making a fool of myself. It's just a mistake. Hey, it's amazing. I'm human. All right, hold on one second. Robin, tell him to call back. Tell him to hang up and call back. And then come back in. Wow. So now I really feel like, you ready for this? Now I really feel like the Howard Stern show, right? Because Howard Stern was one of my idols when I was growing up. He was one of my idols, and I loved listening to him every single day. I listened to his show, and I learned a lot about radio from Howard Stern. And I couldn't wait till one day to become Howard Stern. So here I am. I actually have my sidekick Robin with me. Isn't that funny? You get that, Robin, or no? And she just took care.
I'm a sidekick today.
You're the sidekick today. So
That's usually not my position in life, but I'll be a sidekick today.
All right. So if anybody wants to call in now, it's 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. So I was talking about getting private money, and that leads me into something. This is why I'm talking about it. I'm talking about getting private money, and private money is the best way to actually get your deal funded. So you're going to go to a friend, you're going to go to a neighbor, you're going to go to somebody you know. You might even go to somebody you don't know and show them the deal and get private money. Now, a lot of times people say, hey, what's the one question? Robin, think about this, right? So if you were going to lend me $200,000, what would be the one question that you would want to know before lending me the money?
What return are you looking for?
Yeah, so basically, how am I going to get my money back, right? It was probably the number one question is, how do I get my money back? So inside a promissory note and inside a mortgage, it would explain carefully how that money comes back, and that's very, very important, and that's what we talk about. We actually teach that in investor schooling. We actually have samples of mortgages and samples of promissory notes that you can use. If you want, I would recommend you have your attorney look at them, but at the same time that you can use, and we teach you how to protect not only protect your lender, but also protect yourself. So what I'll do is I'll borrow money from private individuals. I mean, I've done deal after deal after deal where I go to individuals and I borrow the money from them, and I show them this promissory note. I show them this mortgage, and they act like the bank. Now, at the same time, a lot of these people are getting 1% interest, as I mentioned before. They're getting 1% interest in a bank or less, and I could get money from a bank if I was able to qualify for the loan. I would be able to get money from a bank. Maybe now it's kind of high now, maybe about 7%. So they may say, hey, listen, you're not going to a bank, so I want to get a little bit more. So maybe they'll get 8 or 9% is what they'll get, because you can get them, they know that you can get the money elsewhere, and they're saying, hey, yeah, my underwriting isn't like a bank's. I'm just going to say yes or no based on the deal. Now, that's the other thing, too, is the deal has to be a good deal. Actually, it's really funny. If you can know you have a good deal when you have people throwing money at you. And I tell people all the time, if people are throwing money at you, then you know you have a good deal. You did tell Chris to call back, right, Robin?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I even told him to hang up.
All right. So he was going to call in. He's going to talk about something really cool, and that is a really cool thing. All right, hold on one second. Let me see if I could text Chris and tell him to call in now. All right. Anyway, so the whole concept, again, is private money. Call now. He's actually texting me and telling me he's not ready to call now.
Ah.
All right, here we go. Call now. All right, well, I got the perfect lead-in for his new thing that he's got, and I wanted to talk to him about that. Anyway, that was my fault. You believe that I did that, Robin?
Yeah, I do.
Know.
I do.
It's,
Nobody's perfect. Don't worry about it.
You get old, right? You want to talk about getting old? Wait, I got to tell you something interesting today. So I go to Wawa today, and you guys ever use Apple Pay? You ever use Apple Pay?
Not at all.
Right. So anybody out there ever use Apple Pay? I got to tell you something funny. So, like, I have Apple Pay, and then Apple had this new thing where they have the Apple credit card, which, by the way, I tell everybody to get because it's great. And I go to pay for my coffee. I got to pay for my coffee with Apple Pay. And I'm like, oh, let me try this. I want to see if this works. And I put it over the thing. I go, wow, that worked really well. You know what the woman behind the counter, the 20-something-year-old woman behind the counter said?
What'd she say?
Is that your first time? I felt so, ugh. Anyway, we got Chris on the line. Chris, what's going on, man?
Not much. I'm just listening to your first time here.
Well, wait. So speaking of first time, you've got something. You got something that is so cool that I really wanted to talk about it, because we talk about private money on this show quite often. And you introduced something yesterday that's probably one of the coolest things I've ever heard of. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about it?
Yeah. It was a wild launch. Oh my gosh, out here in Salt Lake, and basically what I created is I just created something that solves a really big problem. That, to be quite honest, I was surprised it hadn't been created already. It's a dating site for money. I simply identified a problem. There's two types of people out there. There's people that have money, and there's people that need money. And each of them have a unique problem. People that have money have a problem that they want to make more money. And people that need money have a problem because they need money to make money. So all I did is I said, that sounds a lot like a dating site, a lot like almost Tinder when you think about it from a technology standpoint. And all I created was, if you take a coin, I created the edge of the coin, the connection. I created the dating sites to bring people with money together with people that need money for real estate investing, and that would be non-owner occupied real estate. So, for example, somebody's got money, they come into the site, Private Money Club, and they become a member, and they build a profile, much like you would with any social media site, or, if some of you have done dating sites, which I know you have, you would do it just like a dating site, photos, descriptions, what you want, what you're looking for, your wildest dreams. And you put all that in there as a lender, and the borrower comes in, does the same thing, becomes a member, builds their profile. The borrower has a deal that they need money for, so they post the deal. It couldn't be any simpler. And then they post the deal, they put it up there. That deal is then going to basically, through algorithms, be matched up with private lenders that, may or may not want to fund the deal, but they're going to get it in front of them. And then there's interest calculators to show you how much the payments are. And really all that the two do, just like Tinder, if you got a phone, you just swipe left through the deals if you're a lender. And when you find a deal you like, you swipe right. It notifies the borrower, and you guys start communicating on the site. If you're a borrower and you're looking for a lender, you do the same thing. You're swiping left through all the lenders, finding ones that match the profiles of what you're looking for. When you find one, you swipe right. You start communicating, and then we built in guidelines and lots of education. But in the simplest form, all I did is created a connection between two different types of people. And the whole purpose of Private Money Club is to put the power and the control back in our hands instead of the banks and institutions and Wall Street. That gives us control of the money. It gives us control of the outcome, and we get rewarded instead of rewarding the banks in the form of interest payments every single month that they don't even say thank you for.
I got to tell you, that is amazing. The first time you spoke to me about it was, I guess it was about a year ago when you were still in the middle of creating it, and I thought it was one of the greatest things ever. I actually think this thing can go, it could go gigantic if given the right time and given the right audience. First of all, if I understand this correctly, they have to join. I assume there's a membership fee. You don't have to discuss that, but I assume there's a membership fee, right?
Yeah, and we can discuss it. Right now, today is the last day because we just launched yesterday. It's $997 per year. Okay. And anybody that signs up today, they're locked in for the next 3 years minimum. And then every day after today, it goes up $100, and it's good. The final price, it will be $1497 per year, whether it's a lender or a borrower.
Awesome. So they join. And by the way, I just have to say, just because we're on the radio, this is not a paid endorsement. I just happen to like Chris. I know Chris personally, and I've seen parts of the product, and I think it's great. I know he launched it yesterday, so I just want to let you know this is not a paid endorsement. It's just something that I just think that'd be great for the audience. So that's why I'm doing it. It's a whole bunch of legal stuff you have to say when you're on the radio now, Chris. Anyway,
yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's my fault. That's right. So just so you know, whatever you guys do, so if you go there, you can find out more information about it. And how do they find out about it? And how do they become a member?
Yeah, you just go to privatemoneyclub.com, and there's all sorts of stuff, and you can schedule a call, and we can answer all your questions, or you just go on the site and you can browse it. There's a free option, so you can just go in and window shop, create a profile, go in, check everything out. And if it's something that you think will benefit you and solve your problem, well, giddy up and go.
So I actually think it's absolutely brilliant. So now you have people out there with money. Did they actually say that they're looking for deals? Because I haven't seen the site since you were working on it over a year ago. Do they actually see the people, how much money they have, or does it say, hey, I'm interested in a deal? Does it say areas that they're interested in? How do the lenders work? That's what I'm more curious about.
Absolutely. Yeah, so on the lender side, basically the lender, when they build their profile, puts in it's a range. They could say, I got 50 to 100,000. I got 100 to 150. There's different ranges. So you select your range, and then you also can select what you're looking for, because you want to give the system and the software as much information so that it knows what you want. So then it's only going to bring, or the algorithm's only going to put in front of you the deals that you're specifically looking for. So it's not really matchmaking, but what we're just doing is just showing you only what you want. Because if there's thousands of deals on there, nobody's got time for that. So it just allows you to really refine. You can even get real down in the weeds on it, and you could say, I only want to lend on multifamily. I only want to lend on single family. I only want to lend on development deals. So it allows you the criteria to really say not only how much money you might want to lend, but also, what type of deal you want to lend. Or you could just keep it wide open so that all the deals come and you can just look at them all.
That's pretty awesome. And then on the other side, you have the borrowers, and the borrowers would do they make offers on rate, or do they say, hey, or they just swipe through, connect, and then the two of them connect, I guess, through email or text message? How does that work?
Yeah, so the borrower would put their deal up, and the lender, so in the lender profile, they're going to be able to say, this is the range of interest that I'm looking for my loans. So when the borrowers post their deal, what they're all doing is they're putting an interest rate that they're willing to pay. But you've got to remember, these aren't banks, these aren't institutions, these are just private lenders. So really, it comes down to just building relationships and a negotiation. I mean, if you're a private lender, you call the terms, but if you find a deal you really like and you're talking to the borrower in the messaging center, and just so you know, the messaging center is awesome. We've completely redesigned the whole messaging to look and feel just like your cell phone. So we're all used to messaging on DMs or on our phones. We created the exact same environment. You can upload documents, you can put emojis, you can have so much fun just in the messaging, but you can just communicate. And maybe the borrower says, hey, listen, I know you're looking for, let's just hypothetically say 15%. I'm willing to pay 12 if you like this deal. So that's the beauty, is it takes all those roadblocks down of dealing with banks, because now you're just dealing with an individual. You're creating a relationship, you're creating connection, and then right there you're negotiating, and you guys are figuring out what works for the two of you to solve each of your problems. That's the best thing. Is I think it's foreign to people because we've just gotten so conditioned to whatever the bank says goes. Like, we don't have anything we can do about that. The bank is the almighty and just tells us exactly what it's going to be, which is never what we want it to be. Here, you get to create your future. You get to create whatever you want, because it's just you and another individual creating a relationship. And boy, oh boy, that's when I think about how big this can get, I think that's what we've been lacking for a very long time in the money side.
Like I said, I think it's absolutely amazing. That was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on this morning, because, again, we talk about it all the time. And, hey, if my audience can find money for deals, or if they have money and they want to put it into a real estate deal, where else should they go? They should go to something like your app, which is apparently the only one out there, which is phenomenal.
Blows my mind, to be honest.
well, listen. When you get really famous, just remember, I knew you when, all right?
Oh, I'll never forget Larry.
All right. Well,
yeah, and it's funny. Let me just hit on that one thing, about, why I was created. A lot of people ask me that, and I'll tell you the reason why it hasn't been created, because it was a pain in the butt. Just the legal behind this has been a massive lift and a very expensive one. So it's very difficult to do, but you know what? Sometimes that's right on the other side of difficulty, right on the other side of fear is where greatness is. So I just wanted to do something great.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this is a membership site. This is not, you personally or the company doesn't make any money off the transaction, because you can't do that, right? You're just talking about a membership, and the two of you, and of course it's lend and borrow at your own risk, of course. But you have some education on there. We have some education here that they could get on how to do that right. I know that our students will certainly become part of it, if they want to, and we would certainly guide them on how to do it properly. And I'm sure that you have people in your staff that guide them how to do it properly. So I think what you did was absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited for you, man. I just like I think when am I seeing you next? I can't remember. I know you're out in Buffalo. I'm over here in Pennsylvania. So we only get to talk or see each other online every once in a while. But I'm looking forward to seeing you again, giving you a big hug and saying, "Hey, man, you did a good job."
Oh, I can't wait, man. Every time I'm with you, we have a blast. So
that's true.
We'll have to make sure that happens a lot more, because I'm not that far from you.
Yeah, hey, do you know Robin? Robin Scott from our school. I mean, she knows who you are. I mean, I know you know. There's a lot of students in our
Yeah,
school.
we met at the last event.
Oh, there you go. So she's actually here with me right now. So say hello to Chris and wish him luck.
Hi, Chris. You remember me. I was the one in the front row at the meeting at the investor schooling with the iPhone.
100%. Yeah, it's great to hear your voice again.
You too. Chris, I'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you have an algorithm in your membership where you can calculate the cap rates for someone? Because I notice a lot of students have a problem with pricing things right with a property, like a cap rate of the deal, cap rate of the market, and know if the price tag of your deal is a fit. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, which is interesting. So we do, and it's not our software. What we did is we found a third-party software that was created by a big real estate investor, so it wasn't a product that was in the market, and that's exactly what he created it for, is what you said, to be able to go in for his deals and put the address in and be able to figure out cap rates, and is this a good flip, is this a good rental, is, whatever the thing is. So that software's in there. Now that is, above and beyond. We allow you to use it 3 times for deals, and the name of that software is Housefolios, but in Private Money Club it's embedded, so you don't really see that it's a separate software, but that would allow you to create and do all those different things.
Awesome. Sign me up.
Sure. I know, right? Very good, Chris. I'm pretty impressed. So I know you launched it yesterday in Utah. A bunch of my friends were there, and I couldn't make it because I had a bunch of things I had to do this week. So make sure you say hello to everybody for me. I know Deb's actually there. Deb, our senior student liaison, is there.
Oh,
Isn't she awesome?
she's awesome.
Yeah. She actually suggested
everybody
I bring Robin on.
from investors. Everybody from investor schooling is awesome. I've not met one person that I don't like. Well, there is this guy Larry. He's okay.
I know. You're much more politically correct than I am. You say everybody's awesome. I'm just talking about one person. I get it. Yes, all you students at investor schooling are listening to the show. The ones who didn't sleep in at 10:30 on a Saturday, because we're usually on at 2:00. The ones who didn't sleep in, well, thank you. You're all awesome. Well, Chris, hey, go do your thing. I know you have to go to a mastermind meeting with everybody over there. Tell them I all said hi. And thanks so much for coming on. And thank you so much for creating this. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to use it. And I can't wait to find out how successful it is. And, when we see you in the Fortune 500 because of this, again, maybe you could buy me a car or something for putting you on the air, right?
Larry, I love you, man. We'll get you. We'll get you a car. We'll get you something. It's always an honor, always a privilege, and thanks for having me on your show.
You got it, man. Thanks so much, Chris. All right.
Thanks, Chris.
With that, Henry, let's take a break, and we'll come back in just a couple of minutes. This is Larry. Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse, and we are here at Investor Schooling Headquarters. I'm here with Robin Scott. We were just talking to Chris Nago. Was that cool, Robin, or what? What do you think of that?
That was absolutely awesome.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, like, it's funny. He said it, and we all think it too. How come no one thought of that? That is absolutely brilliant. I mean, you've seen these sites like, these crowdfunding sites,
Yeah.
and the crowdfunding sites are great, but that is specifically for lending on real estate. That is absolutely fantastic.
It's brilliant.
And it's one person and one person. You guys talk to each other, and you make the deal happen. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I just thought it was a great idea. I had to talk to him about it, and I thought the guys on the radio would love it. But all right, let's go. Real quick, so bunch of people, if you guys want to call with any questions, you can call about what Chris was talking about. You could call about anything that has to do with real estate, anything that has to do with stock market, anything that has to do with anything. As a matter of fact, you could even call and wish Robin good luck because she literally just started with the school this week. And the phone number is 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. One more for good luck. 855-939-1137. All right, fantastic. So, Robin, you come to classes all the time. You hang out. You sit there in the mastermind meeting. What is the most exciting thing that you've ever either seen in a mastermind meeting, heard in a mastermind meeting, discovered in a mastermind meeting? What do you think of the mastermind meetings? I don't know. Talk about something.
Well, it's a pretty good idea to get together with people who are doing real estate. And you learn from each other, you learn about each other, and you share your information. And the one part I'd like is just no criticism. You share the good information and the bad information. And actually, to me, the bad information is more valuable because you know what not to do. You share your mistakes with the class and they know what not to do, so it saves you time, money, energy, and frustration. So, yeah, I really do enjoy the mastermind.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we actually had something interesting. I'm not going to say who the person was, just because she doesn't want to know, just want anybody to know. But it was very, very funny because she came in and she was having trouble with a contractor, and she talked about in the room, and she sat down and she was kind of down about it, and she's like, I don't know about this contractor, and I got some problems. I paid him a whole bunch of money, and he's not doing the job right. Now he wants some more money, and everyone around the room, we all sat around the room, and we talked about this deal. And everybody gave this person different advice. We told her to fire the contractor. We told her not to hold back payments. We told her to do this. Everybody gave her different advice. You stood up and you said, "I'm going to go with you." And I thought that was one of the funniest things. The story of that is very, very funny. Now, I know the person who did it would probably say it was okay, but I don't want to mention her name just in case she doesn't want anybody to know who it was. But why don't you tell what happened when you got there?
You would bring this up, huh? Well, as a female in real estate, a lot of contractors are usually men, and they think women don't know anything about, constructing a home or the different phases that you have to numerically go through to get a house built. And they just, give you the flim-flam and the runaround and think you just don't know, and they ask for more money and make you think they need more money. And you just have to know certain things, and you just have to school yourself. So when you do come into contractors that try to, I don't know if they try to trick you or they're trying to get more money or whatever their agenda is, you have to let them know, look, I know something. Not saying you know something, but just act like you know something. That's why you walk through, these stores and find out the different types of electrical wires. Find out the different types of equipment that they use to put a house together.
I don't even know if you need to know that much.
Yeah, I say that. Right? I say that because if you let them know a little bit, they may think you know a lot of it.
I got you. I understand what you're saying.
Okay, right. So if you mention one thing, they're not going to take you too far because they say, hey, she knows something. That's usually unusual for a woman. So, you just have to let them know you are not to be played with. And I shoot from the hip. I keep it real. And you get things done that way.
Yeah, and you actually went off on the contractor.
Well, I didn't go off. I was just straightforward.
Okay, and and the contractor said, "Oh no," and the contractor's asked for more money. the other person was trying to negotiate that, and then you're like, not only you're not getting any more money, but you're not getting any more money at all until you do this, and this.
That's right.
And I thought it was pretty interesting because you created a timetable for them to do. I think it was drywall, right?
Well, make it so bad, they made their own timetable. They created the contract. They created the draws. They didn't stick to it, and they ran into a problem. That is not the borrower's problem, the investor's problem. That's their problem. So
yeah, and then you let them have it. You let them know what it was like. I know the person said, and she was like, "Wow, I just let her go," and the contractor's looking at her going, and she actually looked at you and pointed to you and said, "Keep listening to her" or something, right?
Well, the job's getting done, and now they know. One day after that job, if that's not done, one day after the contract, you'll owe $150 per day. Every day you're behind on a contract.
Yeah, that's great.
So
that's holding a contractor accountable. Now it's funny because when I hire a contractor, they tell me 2 months, I immediately add another month. Immediately.
You're kind.
No, in my head, I don't tell them that.
Oh.
I do it in my head because I already know that they've underestimated.
Right.
They always underestimate because there are things that are going to happen, and most of the times, it's something normal. They didn't realize that if they go to Home Depot and order cabinets, that right now, especially with the supply chain issues, that the cabinets are a 45-day lag time.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't tell me that, and they didn't factor that in. So I usually factor in, an extra month, or actually, if it's 2 months, I factor in an extra month. If it's 3 months, probably another extra month too. But it just gets to the point where I know I've got to factor in some extra time. So I do. I just factor it in. But then you have the different kind of contractors where, my drywall guy quit in the middle of the job. Well, you better find another drywall guy, or you better do it yourself because you're not getting another payment until that happens. And these are the things that you can't help, and these are the things that I keep in my head and go, yeah, I know that's going to happen too, and that's going to happen too, or this guy, I've had contractors who. I had one contractor a while back who was, he was a recovering drug addict, which is fantastic, but he only hired recovering drug addicts. So, the odds of a recovering drug addict going back to drugs is high, unfortunately. So a lot of his staff would disappear, after a week or two, and that relationship didn't work out too well, and I couldn't hire him anymore because of the problems that we had. And again, it was a great thing, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So you never know what's going to happen. So that's why I always add time. Now, it's also, if you're doing this for the first time, especially you watch these TV shows like on HGTV, and they have. They buy these properties and they fix and flip them and they show you how much money they make. We all know that those numbers don't include a lot of things like holding costs and real estate fees and everything else. That's fine. But at the same time, you also need to understand that if you can do this for the first time, you could lose money the first time you do it. Now, if you go into it, when we teach you probably won't because we're going to teach you formulas that are going to make sure that's not going to happen, and we're going to talk to your contractors. But if you did this without our help, you did it without anybody else's help, you might lose money the first time. And as long as you understand that you lost money and that was education, and then you go to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, you start making money. I mean, look, it's funny because everybody asks, hey, how many fix and flips have you done? You know how many fix and flips I've done, Robin?
I don't want to get a brain freeze. I have no idea.
You ready? 0.
Oh, yeah, I got a brain freeze on that one.
And I'll tell you why. So I don't fix and flip. I fix and rent. So I buy properties and then I just rent them. I don't want to sell them. I want to keep them. I want to keep everything. I've said this over and over again. I'm going to be next month. I'm going to be 59 years old. I have no pension, so my pension is rent. So I get rent. And here's the other thing too. Forget about although it was pretty nice that Social Security just got it. I mean, I'm going to get Social Security too because I did have jobs throughout the years, and I also paid Social Security taxes. But everybody just got their increase, their 8.7% increase, CPI increase for Social Security, which is fabulous. But if I want an increase, I just send out letters to my tenants and say, "Hey, guess what? The rent was $1,500 last week, and now it's $1,600 next month." And then all of a sudden, if I do that with enough properties, I mean, if I did it with 30 properties, that's pretty nice, right? That's a $3,000 a month increase for me for doing nothing but sending a letter. And I can do that, and I've done it, and I've actually increased a bunch of rents this year because of the economy and because leases came up, and that's the way it is. So you can easily create your own lifestyle by owning real estate. Now, I don't want to sell the real estate because then I cut off my rent supply. I cut off the supply of money I get. Here's another thing, too. If you're doing fix and flips, and let's say you make $100,000 on a fix and flip, you buy the property for $200,000, you put $50 into it, and you sell it for $250. And forget about the fees for a second, but you had a $100,000 profit. You're paying taxes on that $100,000. The better move is to refinance the property, pull out that $100,000, or even if it's a little bit less, pull out that $100,000, get that money tax free because it's a loan, and have your tenant pay for the loan. Not only does the tenant pay for the loan, but on top of that, you also make a little bit more money than the loan. So why would you ever want to get rid of a property? Now, of course, there are times where maybe a financial situation you have to, but I in years I haven't had that happen. I'm not worried about it. So never sell a property, even your primary residence. If you want to move, rent your primary residence, borrow the money out of your primary residence, buy the next one. It's so much better idea. All right, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. You can call and ask us about anything that has to do with properties, anything that has to do with anything that has to do with money, it's fine. By the way, Robin, I remember something too. When I was writing my book, my Money Hacks books, I was halfway through it, and I actually printed it, and you happened to be in a room when I printed it, and I handed it to you, right? And you read it before anybody else got a chance to read it.
Now that blew my mind. He's just going to do a book.
That book, right?
Everybody should go get that book. I think Barnes & Noble has it right now, but I'm telling you, that book will blow your mind. Even if you don't think you're going to be interested in it, just go get it. Put it in the shelf. Let it collect dust if you wish. But one day, pull that bad boy off the shelf and get into it and get her done.
Yeah, that book is called Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. And that's the truth. Everything you think you know about money is wrong. And it's funny because most people have no clue until they start reading the book.
That's right.
About what I actually mean by that. You know, there are so many wrong decisions that people make about money, especially credit. Credit's one of the misunderstood in this world. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, I want to have zero debt." Well, if you want to have zero debt, that's okay. That's a path to mediocrity. Now, at the same time, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to go buy furniture on a credit card. You can if you want to, but that's not what debt's for. Debt is to buy assets. Like, you know, I can't remember what it was, but I think it was Apple. I think they were $4 billion in debt, but they had $4 billion in cash. So if Apple, the company, would think the way most people think, they would take the $4 billion cash and pay off the $4 billion debt. Well, then they don't have $4 billion cash anymore, and they might not be able to get the loan again. So why would you ever do that? Never take money from savings or anything that's in an investment and move it to pay off debt. That's a big mistake that people don't get. Now, you know, of course, it's an individual. You really have to look at that individually because there's certain debts you do want to pay off, especially if you bought the property with debt. You have to pay that debt off. But never take money out of savings, and always put money away and keep putting money away, and that money compounds interest or makes you money, while the other time the debt, yeah, I realize you're paying interest, but the assets attached to that interest are making you more money than the interest if you're doing it right. So 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and most people don't even know how their credit score is calculated. That's another thing that's in my book. You know, I find it really funny. 855-939-1137. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give away a copy of my book. You ready, Robin?
Yep.
Here's what I'm going to do. If you could tell me, if somebody could call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, who could tell me if you have, I don't know, if you have 23 credit inquiries on your credit report, how many points does that remove from your credit score? And I want the exact number. So if you have 23 credit inquiries on your credit score, on your credit report, so you've applied for credit 23 times in the past year, what is the most amount of points that can affect your credit score? And I'll bet you have no idea. So the most amount of points that can affect your credit score, first person to call me with the answer gets a copy of my book. I'll even autograph it for you because, you know, the autograph will probably be worth make the book worth 3 cents more. All right, so 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We have Henry at the board today, so you'll call in. You'll tell Henry to put you through to me, and if you can answer the question, I bet you there's got to be a mortgage broker out there who knows the answer, but there must be a real estate investor out there who knows the answer. How many points will you lose if you have 23 credit inquiries on your credit report? Because that's a really interesting question, right? Right, Robin?
Yeah, sure is.
You know how to calculate your credit score. Nobody else does, right?
Of course.
Remember when you first came to the school and we talked about you getting credit?
Yes.
And how much credit did you add to your credit Even immediately, I think you added a whole bunch, but then I think you've added a whole bunch since, right?
Yeah, in I guess about 5 or 6 minutes, I applied for a credit card on my phone, something I just would not do, and I did it. Larry showed me how to do it. I did it, and within 5 or 6 minutes, I had received an approval for a credit card in the amount of $13,500 in five minutes.
Right.
Who knew?
And then you got more.
Yeah, I got more. So I do it all the time now.
Right. It's funny because everybody's like, I don't want to apply for credit. It's going to ruin my credit score. It's actually the opposite.
I was totally out of. Yeah, I was totally out of my comfort zone.
All right, we got Kevin in Havertown. What's going on, Kevin?
How you doing?
All right, man. Are you going to answer the question? What do you think?
I think it affects your credit actually to the better about 5 times.
Wait, what? So if I have 23, inquiries on my credit, how many points can that affect my credit score if I have 23 inquiries? What do you think?
3.
3? No, it's actually a lot more than that. But I'm glad I got you thinking the right way. It is a lot more than that.
Well, I thought, they like you to have credit because that way they keep an eye on you. So.
Who keeps an eye on you? Are you a government conspiracy theorist?
Come on, man. We know better than that. I listen to you guys a lot. I used to listen to you guys. You guys used to crack me up all the time. I got kind of busy and couldn't listen as much, but I like to tune in when I can.
I'm glad you're back, man. We missed you. You have no idea.
At some point.
We were making the funniest jokes, and then we heard you weren't listening anymore, so we stopped making those jokes.
See, there you go, right there. Anyway. Yeah, I enjoy listening to you and the other guy. I don't know if the guys are still together or not. The guy that had the trailer park in Florida or whatever it was. But I always enjoy listening to you guys. I want to get to listen to your class. I'd like to have your book. I get a big kick out of it. I'd like to talk to you. I got to see more about it. Got to look into it.
So, you could go to Amazon right now, and you could order my book, Money Hacks. It will cost you an entire $20. And by the way, because of the information that's in the book, believe it or not, the book is actually tax deductible. So you can actually use it as a tax deduction.
Yeah.
So go to Barnes & Noble or go to Amazon.com, order the book, and make sure when you read it, leave me a review too. I really appreciate everybody leaving me reviews on it.
Okay.
But if you want to, go do a Google search on how many points you think you're going to lose if you have 23 inquiries. Call me back with the answer, and maybe I'll send you one. But you only got 10 minutes to do it. Or until somebody else calls with the answer.
I'm not going to make it in 10 minutes. I won't make it in 10 minutes, but I'll get back to you. I always enjoy listening to you, and thank you very much.
You got it, Kevin. Take care. Have a great day. All right. Anybody else want to try? 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. One more for good luck, 855-939-1137. You can call with any questions. You can call if you know the answer to the question, or you could just say hi and wish Robin good luck on our first week. Robin looks really comfortable in that chair. It's pretty amazing. You look like you're really enjoying this show.
I really am.
She's always got that smile on. That's awesome. All right, 855-939-1137. All right, so the other things that are really cool, not only just credit in the book, we also teach you things in the book about about how to buy houses with no money, about how to get loans. We talked with Chris Noggle earlier about how to get loans. I tell a lot of stories about my purchases and some of the things that I've gone through. I actually talk about some personal things as well. So it's actually a pretty good book. I've had actually people say to me that they couldn't put it down. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, it's not that good, but okay. It is. I was Robin saying.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What's your favorite chapter? You even remember? I know you read it a long time
I
ago.
don't have a favorite chapter. It's my favorite book.
Oh, look at that! I mean, I got a fan. That's so cool, right?
Yep.
I know Linda, my wife. I don't know.
Robin she's your first fan.
Oh man, yeah, there you go. I know Robin might be competing to be my number one fan. We might have a problem here. We have to keep her at bay.
You're not going to get me in trouble, Larry.
All right, it looks like we got Richard. Richard calling from South Philly. What do you think the answer is, Richard? Oh,
is it 60?
Wait a minute. Hold on one second. Is this Rich the Democrat?
No, I'm a Republican.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Because there's this guy called Rich the Democrat.
I
who
would
calls-
never be. I would never be a Democrat. You can see what's going on in this country.
Oh no! So first of all, Rich, you will be a Democrat as soon as you die.
Oh, not me.
No, you
Always
you know,
a Republican.
Do you get it? You know, you're going to vote Democrat after you die.
Oh, the taxes. Yes, I get it now.
No. Everybody says that the dead people vote Democrat.
Oh, okay. I understand. It went over my head. I understand.
Come on, Rich.
I understand.
How could you not know what I'm talking about?
Well, I don't follow politics that much, but the way this country's going in 2020 would happen, and they let it go on. The mayor of this city.
Oh yeah.
That's why.
How about Larry
And
Krasner? You know, it's funny. I live in Bucks County, right? And I'm noticing crime is increasing in Bucks County unbelievably. Because why? Because they're all coming from Philly. All right, but you would guess how many? You would guess 60 points, right?
Yes, sir.
You're close, but you're not there. I'm going to give you one more guess.
Okay, I'm close. So make it about 70.
No, I can't give you another chance, but I appreciate the call, man. Hey, when are you going to come into class and come meet us?
Oh, I listen to you on down the aisle and down the dial all the time and everything. When you're on down the dial, you see, I'm blind, so I couldn't come anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, also, if you want to, if you have connection on Spotify or on Facebook, you know, even just for the audio portion, I do a show every day at 7:30 on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can listen to that show. That's a very political show, and I think you'll actually enjoy that show a lot. So you might want to look that up or have somebody help you look that up. It's a great show. It's called Money Chat Now. It's on every day at 7:30. Money Chat Now every day at 7:30 on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, Richard, I appreciate the call, man. We're gonna go. We're gonna see.
I have a question for you.
Sure,
Is it in the morning or in the
I'm sorry, in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. Great, thank you. Yeah, 7:30 in the morning.
That's all I need to know. You have a blessed day. Enjoy your weekend, sir.
You too, man. God bless you. All right, we got Jim. Let's see if Jim knows the answer. What do you think, Jim?
I think it's 0.
0. It is not 0. Remember, the last guy said 60, and I said he was close.
Yeah, I know, but I thought the close would be 0. But I'm going to say 59 if I get a second shot.
Well, it's funny. You're getting closer.
Okay. Not close enough.
So for the next caller, we all know it's less than 59.
There you go.
All right, Jim. When are you going to come into class?
Thank you. Well, I don't know. I live down in about an hour south of you guys, so a little bit trek to get up there. But
all right. So this is
I just listen to you on the radio all the time, and
whenever somebody says to me they live an hour from me from the school, the next thing I do, and you don't have to answer the question, but this is what I say. I said, ask yourself this question: are you a multimillionaire? And if the answer is yes, stay home.
No, I'm not.
If the answer is no, drive an hour and find out how to become one.
There you go. Well, I should, and I will.
All right, go to Investor
I'll take
Schooling.
you up on that sometime.
Right, there you go. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up. All right. It looks like we got about 4 more minutes or so for someone to get the answer. You think they're going to get the answer, Robin?
Well, if they listen to you, you said less than 59 points. It's more than 59 points.
No, it's less.
Oh, wait. Oh, the other guy said 70 points. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's less than 70. And somebody online just, see, this is what happens. People don't pay attention, right? So what did we just say? We just said it was less than 59,
Yeah,
right?
less than, yes.
And what does somebody online say? 75. No, Mike, it's
I know
not
it's 70.
75. It's less than 59. I'm gonna have to give it away in a minute or two if nobody does it. So anybody else who wants to try to guess the answer, 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and you can win a copy of my book. I'll even autograph it for you. I'll send it out to you right away. 855-939-1137. How many points does 23 inquiries cost you on your credit score? What's the max amount of points it could cost you? And then I'm also going to tell you another thing. Here's another interesting clue. If you have 23 inquiries or if you have 50 inquiries, it's the same amount that you lose. This is the thing that people don't know. Once you hit a certain number of inquiries, it doesn't affect your score. Christian says 10. That's not correct either. He's online. Come on, Christian, you should know the answer to this. You read my book. Man. I don't know. This is such an easy answer and such an important thing to know, especially when your mortgage broker tells you not to apply for credit cards when you go for a mortgage. By the way, don't apply for credit cards when you go for a mortgage unless you know the information I teach you, because you really can mess up your credit if you do it the wrong way. So I actually was applying for 13. You know the story? I refinanced 13 of my properties in December because the maximum you're allowed to refinance is 10, and I was able to sneak 3 more in. Right, so I refinanced 13 of my properties, and at the same time, I'm applying for credit cards and I'm applying for personal lines of credit. And the bankers are going, "What are you doing?" I go, "Don't worry about it. It won't affect anything." And they're like, "No, it will." I go, "No, it won't." And they're like, "How did you do that? How did you know?" I go, "Read my book." So my book is called Money Hacks for those guys who don't know. And I'm going to see if we got one more shot. All right, real quick, I just want to get to the stock market. What happened on Friday? Down 400 points. So, do you remember, real quick, I'll get to Harry in 1 second, but what did I say Thursday night's class, Robin? What did I say the stock market was going to happen
You said
on Friday?
You said exactly what it's doing.
I said exactly what was going to happen. It was going to open up high, and it was going to close low. And that's exactly what happened. In a fury, everybody took their money. All right, we got time for one quick answer. What do you think, Harry? What's the answer?
55 points.
55 points. Ding, ding, ding. We got the answer. All right.
ding.
Henry, do me a favor. Get his information because we don't have much more time. But get his information. How did you know the answer to that, Harry? Did you look it up or did you actually know?
Guess.
You guessed? All right.
Whoa, you need to get to this school real bad.
Yeah. If you guessed, that's pretty good. So here's the thing. Most people don't know. Once you hit 10 inquiries, once you hit 10, you hit 55 points maximum damage, and it can't damage you anymore. All right, so Henry will get your information. At this point, we got about 30 seconds, so I also want to make sure that I thank everybody. I want to make sure I thank Henry because Henry does a great job fielding the calls and making sure we get on the line. We also have, of course, Mike Kuiper, who is in the house, and he does our audio here and does our video. And, of course, Robin Scott, who did a great job on her first day as an employee on the air, which is pretty awesome. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. And you can sign up for Thursday's class. Hope to see you then.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.